All right, about to get started here. If you're watching live on YouTube, you'll notice there in the chat, there is a link to a Zoom room. I'm over here live. Love to meet you, hang out with you, hear what you have to say about today's episode. So join me over here on Zoom. All right, welcome back to Increase. I'm Blake Anderson. This is episode 50. Glad to be with you here on Shooting Live, January 4th, 2024. Happy New Year, everyone. For those that you're watching in real time, it's a thrill just to keep this up. We started this a little over a year ago and have been going regularly weekly. And now we're filming these live on Thursdays at noon. You can watch them live on YouTube. You can also join an exclusive Zoom call where after the episode's over, I stay around. I'm available to answer questions, talk with you about the subject matter. I'd love to meet you. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on YouTube, join me sometime if you can live Thursdays at noon Eastern Standard Time. So it's the beginning of a new year. It always brings special excitement, new beginnings, new things, hopeful for what's possible. Normally it's a time of reflection. How did last year go? And if you're like me, you're thinking, how can I make this year better? It's most of the time people uh, think of the new year as a time to set resolutions, a time to set goals. And I'm very much a proponent of those things. But most of the time we're thinking about more. And my question for you is, do you want more in 2024? I know I do want more in 2024. And there is so much to be said about proper goal setting. And you can watch some of our earlier episodes to learn about some of the goal setting methods that I use, that some of my teams use. And so I won't go over that today. But there's definitely still a part of achieving more that we're going to get into. And really, I want to talk about luck. I want to talk about luck for a second. A lot of us who are in the goal setting world, we kind of discount luck. You mature in your success and your uh walk as an adult and a professional, and you realize luck is somewhat out of your hands. And just like Covey says in the Seven Habits of highly effective people proactive, which means they focus on the things that they can control and not the things that they can't. So our most successful people don't play the lottery. It's too out of their control, and most of the people that play the lottery don't win. It's not really in your control, but there is an element of luck, of things going favorable, of things maybe happening in a way that you didn't expect. And if I think about my journey, some of the most exciting things that have happened for me, I didn't plan for. They weren't on my goal list. Some of the biggest season changes and plot twists that God has done in my life weren't even on my radar. And so there's been an element of luck or providence or sovereign to my plan, and it hasn't been up to me. And I haven't been able to set goals for that. So how do you factor that in? How do you factor in the unknown? How do you factor in a will of God that maybe you're not aware of? How do you factor in a blessing that you hadn't prepared for? Well, today we'll talk about it through the lens of luck. As I read the Word of God in the Bible, we don't hear about luck that we know in the Bible. in the Old Testament, they cast lots and did divination. It was their way of like drawing straws or flipping a coin and just kind of believe that God's will would be seen through that. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I don't think today many of us as success community talk about luck, and as Christians maybe feel like we're not supposed to. But if you ever heard the old saying that says luck happens when opportunity meets preparedness. And that's really what I want to start this year off of, is thinking about, is it possible that luck could happen in my life where something new that I didn't plan for would happen, maybe result over and above what I thought was possible. And so we're going to dive in that phrase, luck happens when opportunity meets preparedness. Now, I don't know about you. I don't necessarily think of myself as a lucky person, but I sure would love to have more of it if it exists. Would you like more luck in your life? Would you like things to go your way? So let's think about, how do we define luck? I think generally we think about luck as good fortune, as something going our way. Someone is lucky means they get the breaks. The stoplight is always green. The parking space near the store is always open for them. The dictionary defines luck as success or failure, apparently brought by chance rather than through one's own actions. Well, we're going to focus on the success part, not the failure part. Failure happens to me. I don't really like to chalk it up to luck. I don't want to think I don't feel lucky if failure happens. And also, I know that as an effective professional, that when something doesn't go my way, I don't benefit by thinking that was just chance. I benefit when I see what I did wrong, take ownership of my part of it, and I improve it. So luck being success apparently brought by chance rather than through one's own actions. But the phrase says luck happens when opportunity meets preparedness. And I've heard this phrase from many highly successful people. So I think there's something to this. And if I look on my life, like I spoke earlier, it seems like there's more going on than just the inputs that we have control over. But what this old adage is saying is, as much as the luck part might be out of your control, there's a part of this that you do have control over. And so I'm hoping to give you a framework today that starts to open your eyes to maybe position yourself for something that you hadn't planned for. I know you're going to be goal setting. I know that you're going to be planning your year and you're going to hope for the best. But I hope for you, my prayer for you is something so much better happens. And I hope today's episode gets you in position to receive that. So there's three components here. We have the luck, the good fortune. Now that's clearly out of our hands. We'll leave that there. But we have the opportunity meets preparedness. So let's look at these two components, opportunity and preparedness. So I think if we can understand our part in the opportunity and we can understand our part in the preparedness, then based on this phrase, we should see a whole lot more luck. So opportunity. I think there's three components of opportunity that we have control over. Now, this opportunity that's going to present itself as luck that you didn't plan on, you can't make it happen. And if it's luck, that means it probably was something you didn't have any control over and came from maybe a direction that you weren't planning for. But I believe that you do have a part in the opportunity. And here's the three parts that you have. The first thing for you to take advantage of the opportunity, and your part in the opportunity, is one, you've got to have eyes to see it, okay? Which means you've got to be humble and you've got to be curious. You've got to be open for something new. You can't receive something new from a new direction when your vision is limited to something old. You see, when you limit your vision, you limit your possibility. You limit the potential for opportunity. You've got to be humble enough to think that there's more out there for me than maybe I know about. And we've got to be curious enough, it's a form of humility, to say, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, where is it? Where's that new opportunity? I'm curious. I'm curious. There's kind of a magic. You're light on your feet. You're able to pivot. You're able to move. You're open for all kinds of things. Your field of awareness and visibility is greater when you're curious and when you're humble. I got a good friend of mine who's a grading contractor, and he taught me this incredible lesson. He's become just an invaluable member of our real estate development team. He's a contractor vendor of ours. And his name's Alberto. And Alberto tells a story when he was coming up. He had a mentor tell him, he said, Alberto, when you walk on a job site, you need to know there's money laying everywhere. So pick it up. I said again, Alberto, there's money laying all over these job sites. You just have to pick it up. And so what's that look like in Alberto's life? Alberto is the guy that when he steps on a job site, you might have called him in to clear a lot. You might have called him in to put some concrete down. You might have called him in to put some landscaping. But there's all kinds of other needs that the builder, the developer needs. And Alberto has eyes to see the other things going on. And he's willing to do any of it. Hey, do you need that trash hauled? Hey, can I move that dirt for you? Hey, would you like me to move the materials from this job site to the next job site? Alberto has made himself an invaluable member of our team and other developers' teams, not just because he clears a lot well, not just because he makes the property looks great at the end, but because he knows how to see the money laying around the job site. And he's humble enough to say, how can I help? You see, that's someone who's got eyes to see opportunity, and that's someone who experiences so much more opportunity coming to them. So you got to have eyes to see it. The second thing about opportunity is you got to want it. I know it sounds so simple. Everybody says that they want more, but it's amazing how many people say that they want more with their mouth, but they really don't. But they don't want more with their actions. And really what I mean by that is you actually do have to want more, because the person who doesn't want more probably won't identify an opportunity when they see it. And the other thing is, the person who wants more, who's not humble, will limit what the opportunity needs to look like. You see, you can tell me all day long that you want more business, but are you turning down business that comes to unexpected business that comes to you in a different location, or that's maybe a little different than your current business model? You see, God might be sending your next blessing, your next opportunity in a form that you're not expecting. And some of you say you want more, but you're actually saying no to new potential when it's offered to you. I understand in business, sometimes you got to find your niche, you got to stay in it. You don't want to be distracted by each next shiny thing. But part of more opportunity and wanting it is humble enough to allow it to come from different areas and saying yes to it when it comes. So you got to have eyes to see it. You got to want it. And third, you got to expect it. You know, really, if you're a student of the Bible, if you're a follower of Jesus Christ, you understand the Bible says so much about faith, and faith is expectation, expecting more and expecting good. And really, if you've walked with God long enough, you understand that you get what you expect. Okay. You get what you believe for. And way too many people are in their prayer saying, God, give me more in Jesus' name. But in their thought life, they're expecting less. So which one is God listening to? Is he listening to your formal prayers, or is he listening to your heart as you go about moping about the little you have, as you go about mumbling about how more never comes to you, as you go about grumbling about your current opportunity? So you got to understand, this loving Father of yours, he knows the thoughts and intents of your heart. And I hope you do pray in Jesus' name, and I hope you pray for the things that you want. But you got to understand, if you want those prayers to be effective and heard, those prayers for new opportunity, then you've got to follow those prayers up with a belief system, with an expectation. I've prayed, God, that you'll give me more, and I walk around expecting more is coming. And I'm humble, I'm curious. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Because my Bible says that my God knows what I need before I ask. He says that if I delight in him, he'll give me the desires of my heart. And I delight in him enough to pray to him, and I expect from him. So where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay. So as much as the opportunity might come from unknown sources, you have a part to play in it. You need to be humble. You need to be curious. You need to have eyes to see it when it shows up. You need to want it. You need to want it enough to allow it to come from somewhere you want. Business, and you go through your day to day expecting less to happen. All right. So 3 components. Luck happens when opportunity meets preparedness. Talked about luck, talked about opportunity. Let's dig into preparedness. I think it speaks for itself, but I think there's three components of preparedness. And this is where really most of your hard work is going to be right now. Okay. The opportunity part is really as a mindset shift. Okay. Opportunity is really a mindset and an expectation, a belief system. The preparedness is the work that you're going to have to do. All right. So there's three things that you need to do to be prepared. All right. You got to get ready for luck to happen to you. Okay. Luck doesn't happen to people who aren't prepared. There's a lot of people who are expecting more and wondering why it never shows up. And if you watch, it's because they're not prepared for it. You got to make room for more. If you don't make room, then more can't ever show up. You'd be amazed at probably what is sitting around the corner waiting to get delivered to your house if you would just take the time to make room for it. Clear out the garage, open the front door. Okay. So here's what preparedness looks like. First step of your preparedness is you need to get organized. It's a great time of year to do it, but it's never the wrong time to get organized. Okay. Clean up 2023. Close the books. Finalize the accounting. Get everything off your desk and in files and put away. Take out the trash. Purge the stuff that you don't need anymore. Every year brings with it more and more stuff. Boxes, shrink wrap, packing peanuts, junk mail. Clean it up. Get organized. Take this first week of the year and go through your email and clean up all the stuff. Get your email clear. Clear out all the things that you don't need more. Either trash it, respond to it, or archive it. We've got to organize everything. Oftentimes people want more and they think that they're ready for more, but their hands are too full of stuff. If my opportunity was going to be thrown to me in a form of a football, I couldn't catch it right now because my hands are full of a notepad and a water bottle and some pens. I need to get organized. I need to get my hands clear. Okay. I need to put my stuff where it belongs. I need to get organized and I need to have my hands free to accept more. So some of your preparedness is you got to free your hands to catch the pass. All right. So step 2 in preparedness. First, got to get organized. These are going to come in an order. Okay. You've got to do these in this order. All right. Because you really can't do step 2 until you've done step 1. You really can't do step 3. And step 3 is not even worth doing until you do step 1 or step 2. So what are they? Step 2 is improve. You need to get better at what you do. You need to improve on the processes that you have. You need to get better at your job. You need to get better as a leader. Your business needs to get better at the service that it provides. It needs to make a better product. You want to be prepared for another opportunity, then you need to be better with the current opportunity. So you get organized first. That alone may probably improve what you're doing. Now, second, you got to start looking at what you're doing now and think, how can I improve this thing? Because really, if you're doing a haphazard job with what you're responsible for now, would someone really trust you with a new responsibility? I mean, I'm serious. If you were looking to hire someone into a new position and you're looking around the context that you have and you're asking people that you know, and you saw a friend of yours who you thought was a good person and you knew they were intelligent, but you happen to stop by their office and you see their desk is a mess, and you overheard someone in the other cubicle saying, I've been waiting on that report for a week and a half now. And you saw their email full of unresponded to emails and you heard them say, man, I just can't get ahead. Would you offer them a new opportunity? Come on now. You want it. Well, the same is in life. You want a new opportunity come for you. You need to be organized and you need to improve what you're doing so that you're ready for something new. Okay. The best way to learn something or to add a bunch of things to what you're doing is you do them one at a time. Okay. I learned how to do step 1 so good that I can do it without thinking. Then I can add step 2. And I'm doing step 2 without thinking, and I'm thinking about step 2 until the point that I can do 1 and 2 without thinking. Then I can add step 3. Same as with your new opportunity. Okay. Improve what you're doing. So I was on a call with some leaders recently, and here was my question I left them with for the think about for this week. Think about where you want to be at the end of this year, where you want your team to get to. Okay. What needs to change in your process and in your leadership today to make a year from now possible? Okay. How do you need to improve on what you're doing now to make the next phase possible? It's a great place to start. Third thing, and preparedness. Okay. So we've talked about you got to get organized is number one. Then you got to improve, and you really can't improve anything until you organize. Okay. And organization will naturally lead to improvement. And no matter, and step three is study. You got to study and be ready for the new thing. Now, why is study third? Well, you can always be studying for the new thing, but back to a point that I made, no matter how much you know about AI and cryptocurrency and the next industry and all this, you're not ready. You're not even in position for a new opportunity if you're doing a poor job with your current opportunity. Okay. But the third thing is now that you're organized and now that you're improving what you're doing, now you got to start studying for what you want next. So I tell a story. I just had a phone call with a client of mine. I told you I'm a real estate developer outside of this podcast, builder, and had a real estate deal that we were helping a client with, and they couldn't make the numbers work. They had purchased a piece of property, and when they started running the numbers, they realized that they had paid too much for it, and they couldn't make their development plan work. And so they needed to sell it. And so I connected them with another client who bought the deal. And I kind of wondered why this other client would buy the deal, because the client I connected them with, I knew would be interested in the location. They're heavily invested in this area. And so I knew they'd be interested, but I really didn't think that he would buy it because he's a really savvy investor. And I just thought, man, if she can't make the numbers work, I can't imagine that he's going to make the numbers work. But he did. He bought the deal. And he called today and said, hey, I'm going to be in town. Let's go look at the project together. I'll tell you what I'm trying to do. And here's what I think I'm going to do with it. Well, he found a solution that she wasn't even aware of. And where did he found it? Well, it turns out there was an update to the most recent Unified Development Ordinance or building code, planning and zoning ordinances for this municipality that had just changed and taken effect January 1. And inside of those new provisions were the solution he needed to make this deal work. Now, clearly, he was able to take advantage of this opportunity because he was prepared. He knew it was an opportunity that this other investor didn't know because he was prepared for it. He had some information that the other investor didn't have. And I was like, wow, you really knew it. I think had they known that information, I could have helped them make the deal work. So I kind of felt bad a little bit. I wish I would have known, but the reality is I helped two clients. One client got out of a deal, didn't work, and I helped another client who did, but I learned a lot. This new client had taken the time to study so that when the opportunity came, he was ready for it. So that's the third part about preparedness. You want to get organized. You want to improve what you're doing. You got to be better at what you're doing. And then third, take the time to study so that you can see a new opportunity when it presents itself. I am convinced that there are opportunities and potential all around us, and we just don't have eyes to see it. Either we're not curious about it enough to think that it's an opportunity, or we haven't studied enough to know what to do with it. So you want more in 2024? Better results, more money, more deals, more success. Well, on top of all the goal setting you're about to do, I pray that you'll take the steps that I went over today to increase your luck so that not only do you accomplish the goals that you've set, but my prayer for you is that some really wonderful, unexpected opportunities present themselves that you're able to take advantage of. Join me next week for another episode of Increase. All right, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to cut to live stream. Click the link. There's a passcode there. Don't forget that. Join me over here on Zoom.